that discussions are underway to finalize the meeting's location in either Riyadh or Jeddah.
We're now in discussions to coordinate a meeting with the Ukrainians in Riyadh or even potentially Jeddah. And I think the idea is to get down a framework for a peace agreement and an initial ceasefire as well.
The talks are particularly significant given that Ukraine was excluded from a February meeting in Riyadh between US and Russian officials. That exclusion raised concerns in Kiev and among European allies about the direction of US diplomacy. Despite a strained relationship between the two leaders, President Trump recently said that he had received a letter from Zelenskyy expressing Ukraine's willingness to negotiate. Trump also mentioned Ukraine's interest in signing a minerals deal with the US, a potential economic incentive for Washington's continued support for Kiev.
I think a mineral deal is under question. For a start, if the Americans are withdrawing with one hand, it puts less pressure on the Ukrainians to do a deal. On the other hand, it is, to be fair, the Ukrainians do want to salvage something from the relationship. I think it's also questionable that President Trump is purely transactional and purely commercial in his interests, because if he were, then actually this deal would have been done last week and he would not have put the Ukrainians off in the manner in which he did, or ambushed them in the manner in which they were.
The meeting in Saudi Arabia is set to take place at a critical moment. US aid to Ukraine is currently on hold, adding pressure on Kiev as it seeks continued support. European nations have pledged to increase defense spending, but NATO data shows that last year Washington provided over 40% of Ukraine's military aid, something that Europe may struggle to replace. Meanwhile, the battlefield situation remains volatile. Both Russia and Ukraine continue to launch attacks and counterattacks, underscoring the urgency of finding a diplomatic resolution. After a public spat with Donald Trump, Zelenskyy has now expressed full commitment to a constructive dialogue with the US. The key question now is how would the truce negotiations proceed? What would the Russians agree to, even as they make significant gains on the battlefield? Nupur Praveen reporting for DD India.
Tensions escalated on Monday as North Korea fired multiple unidentified ballistic missiles, according to South Korea's military.